I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on the Global Book Network, we're diving into a story of resilience, healing, and the strength to rise above life's toughest trials. In her inspiring memoir, My Complicated Yet Wonderful Life, Terri L. Spitzer shares her journey from a childhood shaped by alcoholism to a courageous battle with leukemia, and ultimately a life filled with hope, community, and joy. It is a powerful reminder that even in the darkest moments, personal strength, love, and faith can light the way forward. We're delighted to have this wonderful author join us on our TV show here today. We thank the team at Atticus Publishing for helping us put her on our show today. And we ask viewers like you to support authors like her by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing her amazing book. The link is below this interview. Terri, thank you so much for joining us here on GBN.
Thank you for having me.
It's such a honor to have you back on the show. Uh, it's an incredible journey you've had. Back in 1975, you were diagnosed with leukemia. Here we are a half century later, and you're striving, you're doing well, and you were just given 6 months to live 50 years ago, right?
At the time, it was all research. So they did what they could.
And they did a lot. They saved
Yes.
your life.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, you were probably one of the first people to get chemo.
Probably.
Yeah. I know around
Because
that era.
initially they would put you on chemo. Once you went into remission, they would do the radiation to the head for 3 weeks. And then you would do the chemo for 3 years.
Wow. Well, the
So,
protocol has changed, but 3 years of chemo must have been brutal.
yeah, and what they would do is they take blood work, and if my blood work was strong enough, they would increase the doses of the chemo,
Hmm.
which also increased the side effects. And
Oh,
so, but I'm still here.
yeah, you're still here, thank goodness. Yeah, the chemo was actually developed in the 70s, if I'm not mistaken, because of Ted Kennedy's son. He came down with cancer,
Uh,
and it was an experimental treatment that they tried on him, and they had a lot of great success and, worked on him, and they used it on other people. Obviously, they've refined it since. I don't think anybody gets a 3-year protocol of chemo anymore.
no,
Um,
and they no longer do radiation to the head
yeah,
unless it's the last stitch.
right, right. Well, like I said, the good news is that you're here. How old were you when you were diagnosed with
12.
12?
Yeah, I
So
was in
you had
seventh grade.
a tough childhood. You grew up in a family where alcoholism was present.
In my grandparents and aunts and uncles, my
Yeah.
parents chose not to go that route. They got married young and decided they wanted to have a family. They wouldn't, people could bring whatever they wanted to do to drink inside the house, but they didn't provide it. And they didn't drink themselves um, until much later. Like I was in high school and we'd have a glass of wine at Thanksgiving or something. But they made a point to go away from that
Thank goodness.
pattern,
Yeah.
which I have a lot of respect for the way the choices they made.
Yeah. What was it like writing this book? It's deeply personal, of course. You're sharing a lot of pain and suffering at times. Um, Tell us a little bit about the journey of writing it.
It was, I enjoyed being able to share my experiences.
Mhm.
Um, the hard part was when they have to keep re-editing and stuff, the book. It was like reliving the whole situation all over again.
Mhm.
So I was glad when that was done. But Sean James and the Atticus Publishing really have been very helpful in making my book stand out and have a purpose.
Wonderful. And I'd imagine that purpose is to help other people who are struggling, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I told them when he contacted me, because Page Publishing had originally done the book.
Mhm.
And he said, I read the book. I'd like to revamp your book. And so he did. And it's, I really like what he's done.
Yeah.
And he's been very upfront with everything, not trying to sell me something.
Right.
They've been extremely helpful to me.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Going back to 75, you're 12 years old, you get this cancer diagnosis, you're living with chemo and radiation over a period of 3 years. You're just a child at that point. What's it like trying to survive the day to day and, the terrible side effects of chemo as well?
Well, initially, I kept starting in the springtime, I started feeling so much tireder, and everything was an effort. And then I started running temperatures and getting hives.
Mm.
And so when the doctors confronted me and said, "You have leukemia," I was pleased. At that point, it's like, oh, there really is something wrong with me. I'm not just being lazy or
Mm.
not trying hard enough. And so initially it was like, yes, there really is something wrong. Down the line, I would realize it was more severe than I had thought. But
Yeah.
um, I think the idea that as a child, I would set goals for myself to achieve, not for the rewards or the recognition, but just to prove to myself that I could do it.
Mm.
And so that I kind of face this the same way. I'll do whatever they asked me to do and keep trying.
Yeah. So you had a spirit of perseverance and resilience even at a young age.
Yes.
Yeah.
And at the time, I was glad. I have an older brother and an older sister and a younger sister. That because I had so much faith in moving forward and setting goals, that I was glad it was me that was diagnosed,
Mm.
because I knew I had the strength and the perseverance to get through this.
Did your family help you at all? Was
Yes,
that,
they were very supportive.
yeah, they helped you get through?
Very, very.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I had a lot of friends, and
Yeah.
the doctors were very supportive too.
Yeah. Yeah. You find out who angels are when you are
Yes,
at their mercy,
yes,
right? Of the nurses, the techs, the orderlies, everybody in a hospital can be so kind to make the difference when you're suffering like that, no
yeah.
doubt. Um, what's life been like since that 12th year when you got that awful news? What has your journey been like? What has your life been like? What lessons have you learned? What would you like to share with our viewers and readers of your book?
Basically, I stayed in the route of wanting to achieve what I had set out, which
Hmm.
was to graduate from high school, go to college, and be able to work with in a career that wasn't going to make a lot of money, but it was going to make, excuse me, a lot of difference. And I went into working in healthcare. My first job was Spalding Rehab Hospital. Learned a lot from them and learned a lot about working with people that are going through different things or struggling, and giving me the idea that I could help them make a difference.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think this book is going to help other people make a difference in their own lives by knowing attitude is so important. Attitude, was faith also a part of your journey to help you have strength in hard times?
Initially, yes, I was raised Catholic,
Mhm.
and during the treatment stuff, I went to church regularly and stuff. Um, for the most part, my ideals are that I live my religion. I live to help others and doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Um, you know, yes, I believe that there's a higher power,
Yeah.
um, but I'm not stuck on, you know, you've got to believe this way and do this. And
Right. You're not pigeonholed into a certain set of beliefs and rules and regulations.
no,
but you do believe that there is a divine or a higher
There
power,
is,
source of
there's a higher
energy,
power.
whatever you want to
And,
call it. Yeah.
when it's time for me to go,
Yeah.
I'm ready. I'm just surprised that I haven't gone. I'm actually very surprised I'm still alive.
Right.
But for whatever reason, I'm still here.
Well, that's good. You're the ever ready bunny. Just keep on going, going, going. That
Yes,
is good.
that's true.
Are you thinking about writing any other books?
I don't think so. This has
Yeah.
been a lot of work.
Yeah.
Um, and at this point, I'm kind of trying to step back and do some of the things I've enjoyed doing. Like when my brother was alive, he had an RV, and we would travel to different Indian reservations or Yellowstone Park or
Mhm.
doing different things together. Um, it's been nice in my life because I've been able to spend time with each of my family members
Mm.
individually and do things that they like to do. And especially my parents, they were totally different people when they were doing traveling on their own.
Mm.
They kind of let things loose a little bit.
Yeah.
My mom and my dad, and it was just fun to see who they were and be able to share times together a lot of times.
So perhaps you'll be getting an RV and hitting the road a little bit.
I I don't think so. Not the way the economy is going right now.
I
But
know.
I do like to go up. Colorado has a lot of hot springs areas.
Hmm.
And one of my friends that had cancer and had severe arthritis, I took her up to one of the hot springs and she got in there. And when we got back to the room, she said, that's the first time I felt no pain in my entire
Wow.
life. So
That's
we went up there
wonderful.
several times.
Wonderful. Well, you've got me wanting
Yes.
to go now too. That sounds terrific. Pain-free. I'm all in.
Yep.
That sounds
And it's
great.
just very relaxing. And
Yeah.
the best part is to go back at night because you're higher up in the mountains and the stars are just beautiful.
And probably the air is a little chilly at night, but the water is warm. It sounds
Right,
delightful.
right.
Yeah.
And anytime you're in the hot springs, once you get out, you're not cold because you've been insulated by the warm water.
Wonderful. Well, that
Because
sounds
as a
great.
child, our summer vacations, we would go to Glenwood Springs
Mm.
and spend the weekend. Um, and I've always loved it
Yeah.
up there.
Yeah, there's also that magic of revisiting a place that you loved as a child.
Yes, it's
And
become a little more commercialized now, but I
yeah,
enjoyed either way. It's fun to go back.
yeah. It's always changed. It's never exactly the same.
Right.
My folks used to take me to the Jersey Shore. As you can
Hmm.
imagine, that it was always commercialized. It's more commercialized even more now. But still, when I go back there and I smell the smells of the boardwalk and I hear the sounds and
Yes.
see the
Yes.
families and the birds and the squeals of kids playing, it brings you back,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wonderful, wonderful. Well, you've done great work on this book. I think it's going to be a terrific gift to people who are struggling. And everybody has their challenges. Everybody's going through something. Everybody needs to find a way forward. This book is terrific,
Right.
folks. It's called My Complicated Yet Wonderful Life. In it, Terri shares her story, her journey from a childhood shaped by alcoholism to a courageous battle with leukemia and ultimately a life filled with hope, community, and joy. It's a powerful reminder that even in the darkest moments, personal strength, love, and faith can light the way forward.
Yes.
Terri, thank you so much for joining me here today on GBN.
Thank you.
I
Thank you for
appreciate your
having me.
time.
This has been great.
Absolutely. Great talking to you as well. To the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford. Until next time on GBN.